equals, we had a similar problem, the function was different. Sine pi x over 2. As the particle passes through the point 1/3, comma 1, the x-coordinate increases at a rate, so dx over dt equals the square root of 10 centimeters per second. How fast is the distance from the particle to the origin changing at that instant? So we want dv over dt. And this is the trap, right? This is the when, which I don't want to waste my time on and not consider in any way, shape, or form till the last moment. Okay. So I'll draw a picture like we always do with this. So this is a sine function, so it must look like this. I don't know where this point is, and I don't care. I don't even look at it. I'm going to consider the generic point, this point. And this point is on y equals 2 sine pi x over 2. It must have an x coordinate. It must have a y coordinate and an x coordinate. So, and this must be the distance between the origin and the particle. So let's look again just to make sure. Again, so it moves along the curve. As the particle, I don't care. Its x coordinate increases, yes. How fast is the distance from the particle to the origin changing at this instant? Good. So this is my x, this is my y, and this is my v for Victoria. That's what we decided to do. Now, what are these? They're covering and creating shades here. Okay, good. So I know that v squared equals x squared plus y squared. I know that I have to differentiate both sides, and I get, because this is a function with time, with respect to time, function of time, function of time, function of time. Because as the particle moves, everything changes. X changes, y changes, v changes. All of them are variables. I meant to say functions of time, vary with time. Okay, so then I have 2v dv over dt equals 2x dx over dt plus 2y dy over dt, as we discussed. Of course, since all of these have 2 in common, I can simplify with dividing both sides by 2. I'm asked to find this. So all I have to do is divide by v. So dv over dt, actually I'm asked to find this, but actually when x is 1/3 and when y is 1. But I can't do this till I find the function. I need to find this function and then plug this in. So I need to divide both sides by v. And the numerator is x dx over dt and plus y dy over dt. And this I don't have, right? So this will be the square root of x squared plus y squared. It has to be a positive number because it's a distance. Okay, so now let's see what we can get. So this is again, now I can say, yes, when x equals 1/3 and y equals 1. So let's see what we have and what we don't. Do I have, let me use this. Do I have x? Yes, 1/3. Do I have dx over dt? Yes. The square root of 10. Do I have y? Yes. I have y. 2 sine pi x over 2. So this piece is basically the y value at that point. So if I plug in 1/3, I have pi over 6, sine pi over 6 is 1, 1 times 2. It has to be. That's it, right? Do I have dy over dt? You can say I don't, but I don't. Nobody prevents me from differentiating this. There's no problem here. So this is the only thing that I still have to work on. Okay, let's see what we have here. No problem. 1/3 squared, 1/9, and this is 1. So this is the only thing that I'm missing. But I have the function. And I know that x is a function of time as well. How do I find this? So then we had y equals 2 sine pi x over 2. So then dy over dt will be 2 sine prime is cosine of pi x over 2, it has to have an argument, times the inner function prime, which is pi over 2, times the inner function prime, which is dx over dt, because this is a function of time. In order not to forget, put a dot on it. So now dy over dt when x is 1/3 and y is 1. I just have to find this number. Do you need me to continue? If you say yes, I'll continue. I didn't write solutions, so I'm going to send you to the solutions here. If you want me to continue or finish it up, I will. Make a decision, please. Do we have any questions, by the way? So far, do we have any questions? Do we all understand what I just did? Maybe you're saying something, but you are muted and I can't hear anything. Should I check my hearing?
Can we complete the problem?
Yes.
So that
Yes, of
I
course.
want to make sure I don't miss.
Yes. So do we have any questions on the way till we continue? Anyone, any questions here?
I don't have any questions.
Okay, thank you. So let me determine this. Dx over dt is the square root of 10. This is a number. This is a number. I will simplify 1 and 1. What I have here is pi over 6. So I know that cosine pi over 6 is the square root of 3 over 2. So then dy over dt is, the 2 is gone, there is a pi. Cosine, when I multiply again, pi over 2 by 1 over 3, I get pi over 6. Cosine pi over 6 is the square root of 3 over 2. I put the pi in front and then times the square root of 10. All this is this piece. Just this piece. So this is pi, the square root of 3 over 2 times the square root of 10. Now I have everything, so I'm ready to compute dv over dt, finally. And put the measurement unit in there as well. Okay. So then dv over dt is a 1/3 with the square root of 10, so the square root of 10 over 3. This is 1 plus pi, the square root of 3 times the square root of 10. You're asking probably why am I not multiplying? Well, I will multiply, but I want to see what's going on because I may want to factor out. Okay, so this was 1/3, and that was the square root of 10. This was 1, and this was determined as pi, the square root of 3 over 2 times the square root of 10. Good. Now the denominator. This is 1 over 9 plus 1, which is the square root of 10 over 3. Look at that. I had no idea. So 1 over 9 plus 1 is 10 over 9. And the square root will be the square root of 10 over 3. So then, nice. I will factor out the square root of 10 and simplify it with this square root of 10. Do you have to? You can say, well, we'll just put the number in there and approximate. True. I just, for me, it's easier to look at the problem. And again, you don't have to. So this is the square root of 10 times 3 that it needs to be flipped. So I have 1/3 plus. I took the square root of 10, so I have pi, the square root of 3 over 2. And these are gone. So that was 1/3. This is out. So now what I have is 3 times 1/3 plus pi, the square root of 3 over 2. And now finally I'll give up and just approximate. I can't really simplify it any further unless I find the least common denominator if you want. So 3, and this is 6. So 2 plus 3 pi the square root of 3, and then we simplify and we get 2. It doesn't matter. So I will put it in the calculator and see what I get. Okay, so what do I have? I have for the numerator, I have 2 plus 3 pi the square root of 3, 2 plus 3 pi the square root of 3, and everything divided by 2. So 9.16. 9.16. Now we have to discover the measurement unit. We can move on. So this is not approximate because it's equal, but this is. So measurement unit. Measurement unit of the rate of change of the distance between the origin and the particle that is moving along the curve. Can anyone tell us the measurement unit?
Centimeter per second.
Thank you so much. Excellent. V is distance measured in centimeters, T is time measured in seconds. Awesome. Thank you. Very good question. Thank you. Is there anything else that we want to go back to before we finish up this one that we didn't finish last time? Is there anything else you'd like to see? Anything else that you want to work on from WebAssign or otherwise? Anything? Anyone? Okay then, so I'm going to move this away. And I'm going to go back to this. I'm just going to copy what we need. So we had this situation. We call this V. We have 500 feet. We have X. We have Y. And we are given dy over dt as being 4 feet per second. We are given dx over dt as being 5 feet per second. And they're asking us to find dv over dt. Of course, there is the trap. When t equals 15 minutes, which is 15 times 60 seconds. Why? Because everything is given in seconds, feet and seconds. I can use minutes. So what do I have here? Is it, oh, sorry, 900 seconds. Good. So where is our starting point? What do we do here? Any suggestions? Any suggestions? Anyone? Any ideas? Okay, so what I'm going to do is draw a parallel line to this. So this is 500, this is the y piece, this is the x piece, and this is the right triangle I need. Can anyone tell us what to write in this triangle? And remember, this is V. Will anyone help us write the Pythagorean theorem in this triangle?
B squared equals x plus y squared plus 500 squared.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Caitlin. Thank you. So this distance is x plus y. This distance is 500, and this one is v. Great job. What will be our next step? So first step was we drew the picture. We read the problem. That's basically the first one. We read the problem carefully. We identified what we're asked, when, which I don't care for. That's the trap. What I'm asked to find, what I'm given, what these represent, draw a figure, and then present an equation that relates what I'm given. Perfect. What will be the next step after we do all that?
Find the derivative.
Excellent. Thank you. Please do not make the error to say, I'm just going to erase this. Let's say a squared equals b squared plus c squared. This prime, this prime, this prime. It could work, but not if it's a product. So don't get into a situation like that. Okay? So always write the left-hand side as a unit, the right-hand side as a unit, and then decide what you have inside. So it will work if it's a sum, but it will not work if it's a product. So careful on that. And you don't have to write this. Just gonna, I don't want any confusion here. So careful. The same thing with squaring. When I present solving radical equations, I make sure that my students, I hope my students understand, you cannot do square, square, square. No, we cannot do that. Okay, perfect. So I write the dots underneath v, x, and y because why? Why did I put that dot? What is reminding me? What is the dot reminding me of?
It's a function of time.
They are all